Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here Maitreya Rishi is describing this phenomenon to Vidura about the influence of the demoniac sons of Diti even while they were in the womb of the mother. So you can just imagine, they're still inside, they're not even come outside. How much disturbance they're going to create, we can understand from the initial signs itself. In Hindi, there is a proverb, पूत के पांव पालने में पहचान लिए जाते हैं. That means how the son is going to be, you can understand right from the cradle. When the child is put in the cradle, from that very point you can understand how the son is going to be. So from these initial signs of these two demoniac sons of Diti, right from the womb their influence is spreading, we can see. So Prabhupada is saying here, the demoniac influence of the sons in the womb of Diti expanded darkness throughout the universe. So such is the influence, such is the influence of demons, that actually darkness spreads everywhere. Darkness is actually compared to Ajnana. When we say Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya, and the demoniac people, they are in darkness, they are in Ajnana. So what do we understand? The more the civilization is in ignorance, the more it is darkness. And darkness means suffering. Prabhupada explains what is the result of ignorance? The result of ignorance is we commit sinful activities. What is the result of sinful activities? Suffering. That is how exactly it is happening. The demoniac influence which is spreading from the womb of Diti is creating darkness, and eventually it will create problems for people. We will see how that is what the Devatas will come, and they are wonderstruck that what is happening? What is this influence? What is this darkness spreading everywhere? Our planets are also affected by this. They are all in higher planets. So the more the demoniac influence spreads, the more knowledge principle, the more light, that is all vanquished. So we should understand that if we want more and more people in the material world, if we want them to be degraded further and further into suffering, then devotees can allow this demoniac influence to increase. But if the devotees are compassionate, then we should put a halt to these demoniac tendencies. Because what it is going to result is in more and more darkness in the whole universe, which will create more and more suffering for the living entities. So this is one very important thing which Prabhupada is mentioning. The demoniac influence of the sons in the womb of Diti expanded darkness throughout the universe. And another very scientific point which Prabhupada is bringing from this verse is about the truth of this material existence. That how the material scientists, they fail to understand even the material world itself. Further we will find this chapter is called Description of Kingdom of God. If they fail to understand the shadow, where is the possibility of understanding the reality? Correct? They are first of all trying to understand the shadow. This material world is compared to the shadow of the spiritual world. Urdhva Moolam Madha Shakha. It is explained in Bhagavad Gita that this is an upside down material tree. It is a reflection of the spiritual world upside down. So if the material scientists, they are not able to understand this shadow world, this material world itself properly, you can just imagine how difficult it is to understand and even visualize the spiritual world, which is beyond material senses. That's why Krishna is called Adhokshaja. The spiritual world is called, which cannot be, it is called Agochara. It cannot be comprehended with our material mind. Our mind cannot go there, our senses cannot reach there. So, Prabhupada is explaining that how Bhagavatam is a perfect science. Perfect science explains reality as well as illusion. Other day in Prabhupada's class, we were understanding, in the material world, everything is relative. Correct? In absolute world, everything is absolute. In material world, everything is relative. If you want to understand black, then you have to have white also. If you want to understand sukha in the material world, there must be dukkha. It's a world of duality or relativity. This is the truth about this material world. The truth about the spiritual world is there is no duality. When you have become free from duality, then only you can understand about the spiritual world. So, Bhagavatam is a perfect science. It not only explains about the spiritual reality, it also gives truth about material existence. Even this relative world, even though it is relative, the proper understanding of this relative world is also given in Bhagavatam, in Bhagavad Gita. That knowledge is explained. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to say, Bhagavatam among all the Vedic literatures is considered to be Amala. There is no contamination in Bhagavatam. In fact, even the Vedic literatures, all the Vedic literatures, why do we take knowledge from the Vedas? Because certainly we will become bewildered if we go by material modern science. It is very bewildering. Material science is saying all the stars you see in the night, they are all suns. Correct? Then why not pull one star in the night and make it lighted like sun? So sometimes it is very bewildering to us to understand that these stars are not sun. They are just like moon. They are also reflecting light. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Nakshatra Nam Aham Shashi. Among all the nakshatras mean stars. Among all the stars, I am moon. So what is moon? We know moon is reflecting the light of the sun. So this is very simplistic understanding from the Vedas. In the universe, there is one sun, but there are many stars like moon. Moon is also one of the stars. So this is what Vedic understanding is. Modern science understanding is different. They are saying in this universe itself there are many suns. They are all little far away, they say. This sun is little near. This is what they say. So Prabhupada is explaining here very clearly. It appears from this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam that sun is the source of light for all planets in the universe. How? We are seeing here the demigods are asking this question to Brahma. What is the question they are asking? They are saying, by the force of pregnancy of Diti, the light of the sun and moon was impaired in all planets. So that means sun is situated at certain place. From there the sunlight is reaching to different planets, including the moon planet. So it is reaching to the different planets. It is reaching to even demigods' planet. So that's why when they are seeing that everything has become dark, then they have all come back to Brahmaji and they are asking that what is this influence? That even in the daytime there is darkness. So what is this influence they are asking? Being disturbed by that force, the demigods of the various planets ask the creator of universe Brahma, what is this expansion of darkness in all directions? So Prabhupada is saying in the purport, it appears from this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, sun is the source of light for all planets in the universe. The modern scientific theory which states that there are many suns in each universe is not supported by this verse. So it is very clear that there are many suns, because if there were many suns, in higher planets that sun would have been utilized. They should not have felt any darkness. If there are many suns, why they have to bother about one sun? This sun, according to science, is meant for our earth only. Correct? That is what they are saying. It is not meant for some higher planets. So if that was the case, then these demigods are not required to be disturbed by one sun getting covered. But they are disturbed. So that's why they are approaching. So Prabhupada is saying from this verse it appears very clearly that Bhagavatam is saying there is one sun in the universe. It is understood that in each universe there is only one sun which supplies light to all the planets. Bhagavad Gita, moon is also stated to be one of the stars. So Krishna is very clearly saying that moon is also one of the stars. It is not, all these stars are not suns. It is also, all of them are like moon. They are all nakshatras. There are many stars, and when we see them glittering at night, we can understand that they are reflectors of light. Prabhupada's how beautifully is explaining. Like moon is shining, we see the stars also glittering in the night. So, if we are saying moon is reflecting the light, we can easily understand stars are also reflecting the same sunlight of the moon. Just as moonlight is the reflection of sunlight, other planets also reflect sunlight. And there are many other planets which cannot be seen by our naked eyes. Plus, it's not that all stars are visible. Some stars you are able to see shining in the night. There are many stars you cannot see in the night. Many nakshatras you cannot see in the night. So they are not seen by us. They are far, far away from us. So, this is a very important understanding. That actually, Vedic literatures are uncontaminated. They are pure source of knowledge. Knowledge comes down from perfect source. This is the difference. What is Vedas? What is modern science? Just try to compare both of them. What is the difference? How do we convince people about this? Very simple to make them understand is this principle of understanding. Vedas, our knowledge, our source of knowledge is descending process. Your source of knowledge is ascending process. What is descending process? The process is descending, the knowledge is descending from perfect source. Then it is perfect. You understand, you don't understand, the knowledge is perfect. When you become mature, you will realize, that's all. Prabhupada gives a very simple example. The child is not mature, he cannot understand. Father is mature, he understands. Let us say the father tells the son, my dear son, this is a table. Now the son cannot understand what is table unless he becomes mature. In the beginning stage, how the son takes the knowledge is that I am imperfect, I cannot understand. Let me take the knowledge from my father who is more mature than me. So when the father is telling this is table and the son is repeating this is table, knowledge is perfect, it is not realized, that's all. But knowledge is perfect. Similarly, we all should understand, we are getting the knowledge from Supreme Father, Krishna. He is a perfect source of knowledge. What did he do? He first of all gave this knowledge, both phenomenal and the knowledge about the spiritual world, to Brahma. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye. Adi Kavaye means it refers to Brahma. Brahma means Vedic knowledge, Vedas. They are called Brahma. They are spiritual knowledge. They are not mundane knowledge. Vedas are also called Aporoshaya because originally it is not delivered by any person of this earth. Person who is contaminated, person who is influenced by Rajoguna, Sattva-guna, Tamo-guna. Even a person, scientist may be in the mode of goodness, doesn't matter. Even with a mode of goodness you cannot understand. Even with mode of goodness you cannot understand. It is not uncontaminated. So the source of knowledge should be from uncontaminated source. That is called Aporoshaya. So Krishna gave this knowledge to Brahma. And Brahma in Parampara is giving this knowledge to us. That is how it is being passed down. So why this descending knowledge is considered to be perfect, we should understand. We should become convinced about this. Prabhupada gives very simple, two simple understanding from the Vedas. Vedas only give this example. Why Vedas are considered to be perfect source of knowledge? We saw the example, Prabhupada giving the example of cow dung. We were hearing in yesterday's class. Cow dung and conch shell. Correct? Vedas, they are considered to be, whatever they say should be accepted without challenge. Because actually even if we try to challenge, we will come to the same understanding. Because it's a perfect source of knowledge. So Prabhupada gave example. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes these two examples from the Vedas. What is the example? That conch shell is considered to be very, very auspicious. We all hold, we keep it in the altar, right? We blow the conch before opening the altar of the Lord. Cow dung is considered to be very pure. Even when Krishna used to become contaminated by some dust or something, Mother Yashoda would put cow dung, cow urine to purify Krishna. You see. Whereas in the same Vedas, you will find at different places it is said, stool is contaminated. If you happen to touch stool, you should take bath. If you happen to touch bone, you should take bath. It is contamination. But then we are using same bone, conch shell is a bone, and cow dung we are using where yagnas are performed. Cow dung is being utilized. Even to make that yagna kunda, cow dung is being, put with that cow dung. So how do we understand? So Prabhupada explains. This is the meaning of Vedas. There is no contradiction. This contradiction is in our immature state. Otherwise there is no contradiction. Vedas is a perfect source of knowledge. And then Prabhupada says this is material example. But let us say there are spiritual understanding. For material thing itself, you can understand there are certain things inconceivable. And spiritual things are very inconceivable. So another example is given in the Vedas. Suppose you want to know your father. Right? It is not conceivable with our material knowledge. If any one of us wants to know who my father is, what do we do? What is practical method? Method is we approach our mother. She is authority. Very simple. There is no other way of finding out our father. Even if you want to find scientifically, it is waste of time and you will reach the same conclusion. So what is the use of that? Take this method. If you want to know who your father is, you have to approach your mother. This is one example given in the Vedas. So for inconceivable matter, if you want to know about our Supreme Father Krishna, then it is only through the Vedas. If we want to know about the spiritual world, it is not by scientific knowledge. Scientific knowledge cannot even understand whether moon is a star or not. Scientific knowledge cannot even understand whether there are many suns. Where is the question of scientific knowledge understanding what is Vaikuntha planet? How in Vaikuntha planet no requirement of sun is there, no requirement of moon is there. We will find further, lot of descriptions will come about Vaikuntha planet. Material scientists will be bewildered by all these descriptions in Vaikuntha planet. You see? Brahmaji will be explaining, when he explains about these 4 Kumaras, how they went to Vaikuntha planet, what all they visualized, what all they saw in Vaikuntha planet. All those things will be described further. So description, this is called description of kingdom of God. So where is the question they can even get a glimpse of what is Vaikuntha planet with material knowledge? No possibility. Even matter they cannot understand properly. Only gross matter they are able to understand to a certain extent. Subtle matter they cannot understand. Yogis at least, with subtle matter, they can even go to Vaikuntha. Subtle perfection. You see? Just like we see the example of Durvasa Muni. He went to Vaikuntha. He was able to go to the Lord. So material scientists, they are not even developed to that point. They are too much into gross matter itself. But to understand the spiritual world, it is not possible by material calculation. So, this is one example given in the Vedic literature. Why, for spiritual understanding, Vedic knowledge is the perfect source. Another beautiful example which is given is, if you want to know man is mortal or not, you cannot understand by your theoretical experimental knowledge. Let us say you conduct an experiment. Man is mortal today. We want to conduct an experiment. Let us try to see all the men of the world. Is there a man who will not die one day? You can go on experimenting. You may not. Today there are some people, again there are tomorrow so many people are born. How many people are you going to test? There may be possibility one man may be immortal. So this is not the way of reaching the conclusion. How do we reach the conclusion? Vedic literatures are saying man is mortal. Take the knowledge directly from the Vedas. They are perfect source of knowledge. Prabhupada gives a very simple example to make us understand how material knowledge is always contaminated. Whatever measures you may take, best of the microscope you may have, best of the telescope you may have, everything you may have, or even best of mind and intelligence you may have, like the great yogis, still you cannot understand spiritual world. Still your knowledge is contaminated. With contaminated knowledge, no question of understanding spiritual world. So Prabhupada gives the example. You want to go and purchase milk. Now government has put so many checks and balances, correct? Government has put a lot of checks and balances. Adulteration should not be there in the milk. Just few days back there was a article, I think Ram Gopal Prabhu was telling me, that even Nandini, even that Nandini ghee what they are selling, it is hardly 40% actually original ghee of the cow. Otherwise it is a mixed of some dalda, all those things. You can imagine? It's a government company with all checks and balances, so much adulteration is there. And milk, there was a big, huge issue created where they are adding soda, some kind of, which the soda can be eaten, that kind of soda directly in the milk to maintain that thickness. They are adding a lot of water and then adding some kind of soda and making it look like milk. Imagine. So Prabhupada is saying this is the meaning of material world. You cannot get anything pure. Even with all checks and balances, still you will get adulterated. So this is the meaning of material world. Whether you are in goodness, you are in passion, whatever it may be, it is all contaminated. So material world means there is contamination. Only when we come to spiritual platform, then we are free from contamination. Then we will be able to understand the Vedic literatures. Otherwise it is not possible. Another very interesting example Prabhupada talks about. Prabhupada says, however opulent you may become by material knowledge, however advanced you may become by material knowledge, but actually it is called Maya Mohita Chetasa. You are still bewildered. Even with the most advanced knowledge you may have, you are still bewildered. You may be most opulent materially, you are still bewildered. So Prabhupada says that is called Maya Mohita Chetasa. Maya is always there to bewilder you. Prabhupada quotes the example of Saubharya Muni. Saubharya Muni, he went to perform great austerities. He went inside the water so that I should not become troubled by material attraction. Outside, if I am there on the land, so much material attraction is there. Better let me avoid all these material attractions, distractions. Let me be inside the water. No woman is going to come, Menaka is not going to come inside the water to disturb me. He was thinking like this, and he went inside the water and he was performing tapasyas for years together. And then after he got mystic powers, everything was there with him. But still he could not become completely purified. He was still contaminated, even after obtaining all these mystic powers. And then when he opened his eyes, after years of meditation, he saw two fishes kissing each other. And that much was enough. Maya Mohita Chetasa. Immediately he became bewildered, even after getting all these mystic opulences. So then he got desire to satisfy his appetite. Then he went and he saw one king. He went to the king and he proposed, I want to marry your daughter. So the king saw that he is having matty hairs, because for years together he was practicing this mystic powers. So he saw him with matted hair and he knew that no, none of my daughter is going to marry him. He's so ugly, with all beard and hairs growing matted, because for years together he was sitting in just one place. So, but he did not want to disappoint. He knew that he must be having a lot of powers with him, so he may curse me if I directly refuse. So he said, okay, whoever wants to marry, any of my daughters wants to marry you, they can marry you. So none of the daughter came forward. So then Saubharya Muni realized that, after long meditation, after long tapasya, this is the situation of my body has become like this. So he utilized his mystic power and he turned himself into a young man. And then he went back to the king, and all the daughters, they were all aspiring to get married. And then he married and he became a pet husband of all those 50 queens. And then after many years, finally he realized that, what is this? Actually, I was supposed to be doing tapasya, and now I have become completely bound up in this grahastha family life. Then he realized that. So Prabhupada explains that how even after so much of opulence he got married to all these wives, and he was in good opulence, everything, still he was not satisfied, isn't it? So this is the meaning of material situations. Maya mohita chetasaha. We may go to the most opulent condition, we may go to the most advanced material civilization, but still we are bewildered by Maya. So material knowledge actually cannot give us real satisfaction, it cannot give us the real knowledge. So this is what we should understand. Of course, when we come to the spiritual platform, we will realize nothing is material. In this material world, nothing is material. It is material as long as we have material consciousness. The moment we develop spiritual consciousness, we realize actually nothing is material. Everything is part and parcel of Krishna. And the moment we utilize it back in service of Krishna, it is spiritualized. Matter becomes re-spiritualized when we serve Krishna. The moment it is away from Krishna, it is matter. Very simple understanding. It is matter as long as I am thinking it is meant for my enjoyment. The moment I realize this is meant for Krishna's enjoyment, it is not matter, it is spiritual. And that is how we find result. Phalena parichyate. Management is not matter if you are utilizing in service of Krishna. Television, mic, none of these things are material when you are using in service of Krishna. This brick, this cement is not matter if you are utilizing in service of Krishna. It is called temple. Prabhupada said, our temples are Vaikuntha. Why did Prabhupada say? These are all embassies of Krishna in the material world. These are extensions of spiritual world. So don't think this is material. While living in the material world itself, devotee can live in Vaikuntha, provided he changes his consciousness from material to spiritual. Prabhupada gives very wonderful example. Our body, everywhere there is consciousness. But there are some part where there is no consciousness. But 1 inch you go inside, nails you can see. You go and you cut your nails. You don't feel any pain. 1 inch you enter inside, you will feel so much pain. So this part is like material, Prabhupada says. Where Krishna consciousness is not there, that is material. And the moment you go 1 inch inside, it is spiritual consciousness. That is the difference. So, this is what is explained here about how the knowledge which we acquire from Bhagavatam, the knowledge what we acquire from the Supreme Lord personally, the knowledge which comes from Vedic literature is a perfect source of knowledge, and the knowledge what we are getting from even the most advanced material science is contaminated, and it is not a perfect source of knowledge. So we'll stop with this. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.